The idea of kneeling, it's, you see, slaughtering all those men. Left a nasty crack on my leg, so kneeling will be hard for me.
There will be no glory in your sacrifice. I will erase even the memory of Sparta from the histories. Every piece of Greek parchment shall be burned. Every Greek historian and every scribe shall have their eyes put out and their tongues cut from their mouths. Why, uttering the very name of Sparta or Leonidas will be punishable by death. The world will never know you existed at all.
The world will know that free men stood against a tyrant, that few stood against many. And before this battle was over, that even a god king can bleed.
Hey, Shalom, all praises, glory, honor, fear to Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahushai, Ba'ashim, Hakwadash. Through honors to elders and apostles, great millstone, and citations to real regal house of David. And see, that's what this world wants us to think. Oh, your sacrifice doesn't matter. No one's listening to you. No one cares. But see, if that was the case, then we wouldn't have our channels being taken down left and right. See, we're having a big effect. And we're forwarding the progression of this truth in the kingdom of our Lord coming on earth. That's what we're doing. And most of the Lord's works are hidden. And that's what the times we're in. And that's what we see happening, man. And as the devil's coming down with great wrath, you have a lot of things happening, man. You got these heathens, man, these Moabites. They're giving goddamn anal swabs, man, test for COVID. You gotta be out of your fucking mind, man. The Lord is with us, and the Lord's gonna destroy this place, man. And you gonna know that there's a power in Jacob, especially amongst his men, the house of David. All right, it's not gonna be no too much more talking now, man, because we're in the climax of this whole thing, man. You know, and see, these wicked rulers, are you wicked out there, you hypocrites, you fat scribes, all you wicked, man, you Edomites, so-called white people, all y'all, man. See, what you want us to shut up, you want us to be destroyed, thrown in jail, desolate, right? Not having no hope. But guess what? We have the hope. And everything that you wish for us and you pray upon us, it's gonna fall upon your own pate, man. You see, and the Spirit is moving mightily upon these last days. And you know, you can't really disagree. You know, we're convinced all the gainsayers, man. All right, Exodus 6 and verse 9. And Moses spake so unto the children of Israel, but they hearkened not unto Moses for anguish of spirit and for cruel bondage. You see, and that's times again. All right, and let's get that word for anguish. So a lot of our people, they're in the anguish of spirit. They're not in the spirit of the Lord. All right, let's get that word for anguish. It is quatazar, meaning shortness, impatience. You see, and that's what's happened to the vast majority of our people. You see, shortness of spirit, right? They're short of breath. What breath? Not carnal breath, the breath of life. And that's why they're not really speaking this thing with intent. All right? A lot of guys, they're circumvent. They go around the truth. They do circles, but they don't get to the point. It means to be impatient, to be vexed. All right? To be short, right? They come up short. You see? Exodus 28 and verse 3 says, verse 2, and thou shalt make holy garments for Aaron thy brother for glory and for beauty. And see, we've been given those garments, man. Like Scripture saying, Baruch is it? Take off the garments of mourning and put on the garments of praise, or the glorious garments. Let's go to Baruch real quick.
Keep fully loaded.
First Ezra 1 and verse 2, having set the priests according to their daily courses, being arrayed in long garments in the temple of the Lord. Matter of fact, let me get that as well. Garments of mourning. Because right now we're in a very evil, everyone's depressed, everyone's down. But see, we are the hopeful elect. The tabernacle there that's being risen up out of the ground, out of the dust, out of the dunghill. We shouldn't be all down and out, man. You know, That's why the Lord said, strengthen ye the feeble knees. Lift up the strengthen our people, man. Speak peaceably unto Jerusalem. Let's go to Baruch. Garments. Matter of fact, I'm just gonna get in the search engine. You know, and they're telling brothers, oh, you can't work here unless you get the vaccine. Hey, man, this is what we've been saying. Now it's what come to pass. You see? Shall I be even with the city? The Lord hath not done it. We gonna go through tough things, brothers. But guess what? The Lord's gonna bring us out of all of them for those that keep their patience and keep their faith. Baruch 5:1. Put off, O Jerusalem, the garment of mourning and affliction, and put on the comeliness of the glory that cometh from God forever. You see? Cast about thee a double garment of the righteousness which cometh from power, and set a diadem on thine head of the glory of the everlasting. For power will show thy brightness unto every country under heaven. For thy name shall be called the power forever, the peace of righteousness, and the glory of God's worship. You see, and we're those that worship Lord in spirit and in truth. So you have nothing to be ashamed of, man. But this world does have to be a lot to be ashamed of. It says, arise, O Jerusalem, and stand on high, and look about toward the east, and behold thy children gathered from the west unto the east by the word of the Holy One, rejoicing in the remembrance of power. And this is our power, this is our strength, the Lord. And willing in the times of the Spirit of the Lord falling mightily upon his servants. The feeble amongst the flock shall be as David, as an angel. Because the Lord's going to raise up that standing when the enemy comes like a flood. And that flood's about to come. It's about to come. They haven't talked to, they want to vaccinate everyone by February, by March or April. It's here, man. Judges 3 and verse 7. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord, and forgot the Lord their God, and served Baalim and the groves. And see, the Lord has 7,000 men which shall not bow down to the image of Baal that's set up right now. Because when we go into Revelation, if you don't worship this devil and what he has going on, then guess what? They're going to want to try to kill you, man. Take you out one way or the other. See, the Lord is the one that kills. The Lord makes alive. Esau don't got that power, man. And that's who we're casting down. We're casting down the power of the wicked, man. That's what you brothers have to understand. We're doing a mighty act. And that's why we're getting persecuted, defamed, ridiculed, hated, even by our own people so much. Let's go to Revelation. Revelation chapter 13 and 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And just like King Xerxes said to Leonidas, he said, what? Your sacrifice is in vain. No one's ever gonna remember you. Whoever talks about this, I'm gonna cut off their tongue, cut out their eyes, I'm gonna kill them. You see, but see, man can say all the hell he wants. See, the Lord is the ultimate judge, man. The Lord is the ultimate judge. Judges 3 and verse 8. And see, the Lord's raised up saviors right now that's going to judge the amount of Esau. And they're not going to hold back their soul from blood. They're not going to have that scary, uncertain spirit about them, man. Therefore, the anger of the Lord was hot against Israel, and he sold them into the hand of, tongue twister, Chushan-Rishathaim, king of Mesopotamia. And the children of Israel served Chushan-Rishathaim, damn, 8 years. And the title of this pie is The First Judge Delivers Israel. So we're in them times, the Lord raising up them judges as at the first. And as we're judging Israel righteously, we're judging our brothers righteously, right? By the words, right? Not by the flesh, not by the outward appearance, not having respect to persons. We're also going to judge and destroy the heathens, man, that oppress our people. And when the children of Israel cried unto Yahweh, the Lord raised up a deliverer to the children of Israel, who delivered them, even Othniel, the son of Kenaz, Caleb's younger brother. See, so it's not always about age, how old you be, or how long you been in the truth. It says, and the spirit of Yahweh came upon him. See, so Lord, he's about to put that spirit upon his men mightily. All right, and he judged Israel and went out to war. And the Lord delivered Chushan-Rishathaim, king of Mesopotamia, into his hand, and his hand prevailed against Chushan-Rishathaim. Slakia, that's a tough one. And let's get the word for prevailed real quick. Another judge, which is one of the most famous ones, was Samson, which we're about to get. But the Spirit of the Lord came mightily upon him. Let's get that word for prevailed. And this is why we do these videos, to not just comfort and strengthen us, myself, but also you few brothers out there as well, man, you warriors. Because this world is very effeminate, it's weak, and as we're at the end, you got a lot of guys getting all lukewarm. Guys that already been lukewarm. But even more so now, we're at the finish line, man. What the Spartans say, this is where they die. Take from everything, give them nothing. This is where they die. This is where they die, man. We're to live forevermore. Even if we're marred for this truth, we're gonna live. We're gonna conquer death. Our works is gonna follow us. That word prevail is to be strong. Prevail. Make firm. Make secure. It says, wisdom makes the wise man stronger than 10 leaders. Protects him more than 10 leaders could. To be made strong, you see? Robust, powerful. Strengthen one's countenance. You see? That's all what that's going into. To harden. Matter of fact, let's get that word for prevail here real quick. Alright, to win. You see that? Prevail means to win, brothers. Exist. Prove more powerful than opposing forces. Be victorious. See that? Matter of fact, let me just get that. I was holding it here. Judges 14 and verse 6. And the Spirit of Yahweh came mightily upon him, and he rent him as he would rent. Let me start at verse 5. It says, then, you know what? Let me start at verse 4. 144. Judges 14 and 4. But his father and his mother knew not that it was of the Lord. You see, so most of the works of the Lord are hidden, that he saw an occasion against the Philistines, for at that time the Philistines had dominion over Israel. What time are we in right now? Of Esau having dominion over us, man. And we're in the time of that yoke being broken. It ain't gonna feel good, but guess what? It's for the betterment of the spirit. It's all about the spirit. Don't care about the flesh. Even in the time of Egypt, went to the wilderness, the bulk of our people, they was what? They was, oh Moses, we want to go back to Egypt. It was easy for us there, man. Why'd you bring us all the way out here to die in the wilderness? See, they were of little faith, man, of little belief. That's why the Lord wasn't well pleased with them. That's why a lot of our people died, man. And the same things happening, reoccurring in these last moments, man. Judges 14 and 5. Then went Samson down and his father and his mother to Timnath, and came to the vineyards of Timnath, and behold, a young lion roared against him. And we're in the time of that as well. All these beasts, all these heathens roaring against us. I mean, you got, man, when you got people saying you're going to put a swab in someone's anal to test for COVID, you got to be out your goddamn, you brothers better be putting curses upon this goddamn place, man, and crying out loud. You see? But only the virgins are going to do that. You whores, you going to like it. A lot of guys, you're going to say, you know what, I'm going to just do it. You know what I'm going to know. A lot of guys are sodomites, bro. You're going to like that. How about that? You guys are, man, Lord's going to destroy a lot of you guys, man. But you guys want to talk about women all goddamn day. A lot of you guys will allow that shit to happen to you, man. Well, it's not the RFID chip. Simple as hell, man. Judges 14 and verse 6. And the Spirit of Yahweh came mightily upon him, and he rent him as he would have rent a kid. And he had nothing in his hand. Right? All we have is the Lord, man. See, once the Lord gives us that power, brothers, man, ain't gonna be no denying who the Lord's chosen is, man. Or whom he sent. But he told not his father or his mother what he had done, right? See, he didn't go out and say, oh, look what I did, look what I did. Like a lot of you guys, man. Look at me, subscribe to my channel. Like me, watch me, focus on me. Me. Matter of fact, when you go on toward mightily, which I'll get, so what's being manifest is the spirit of truth and the spirit of error. A lot of guys that have the spirit of error right now, man. You ain't got all the answers, Sway. That word mightily is tazalach, the Hebrew word. It says to rush, advance, prosper, bring successful issue, to show or experience prosperity, right? And it goes into what? To attack, fall upon, use of the spirit of Yahweh falling upon a man. So yes, we're defenders of the gospel. Yes, we're fishers of men, right? We're like lambs. We're in the time of being transformed into lions, man. As you say in Micah 5:7, that the remnant shall be as a lion amongst the beasts. You see? Who shall both tear and destroy, and none can deliver. It says to flourish as a plant, to go on well. You see? And that's what's about to happen to the Lord's elect. His battle axe and weapons of war. Right now we're doing it spiritually. With this word, pretty soon that word is about to get physical. It's about to manifest as is written in Psalms. Thy saints sing aloud, joyful upon the beds with a two-edged sword in their hand to execute vengeance upon the heathen and judgments. See? And this is what these heathens and these Edomites are terrified of, man. Also ungodly of our nation, man. The hypocrites, the false ones, man. The phonies that's been faking this whole time, man. Sold out. Like the brother, a beautiful video exposing Pharisees and scribes. A lot of you guys don't do, because you are the Pharisees and scribes, man. You goddamn hypocrites. And woe to you guys, man. Not just a World War III that's coming, but also woe to you. How about that? Matthew 23. You see? But he went into it, the boule. A lot of guys like boule, man. You see? You can go into that. John 15 and verse 25. But this cometh to pass, that the word might be fulfilled that is written in their law, they hated me without a cause, right? And just like they hate Yahushua, they hate us. Even though our righteousness is as filthy rags, Yahushua is in us. And that's why a lot of people, they hate us, man. They don't listen to us because they didn't listen to the Lord. So we're not ignorant, man. We're not, we don't think it's strange our fiery trial, man. Because the same thing happened to our Lord, man, with our people. Say they hated me without a cause, right? Yahushua, he didn't take their wife from them. He didn't rob them of their money, you know. He didn't you know, steal from them. No, nothing like that. He was just speaking the truth. But see, the truth has its way of being very mightily, man, and taking away from the wicked, making their business bad, because their business is all about what? Extorting and taking advantage of the sheep. But Yahushua's gospel, his preaching was all about what? Freeing the sheep from that bondage, man. Not just of the Herodians, the Edomites, the Romans, but also of our own fucking people, man. Just like in these last moments. Only a few is gonna come out of it. That's who we talk to right now. That's the only one we're talking to is a few, man. They have their power still on. They have their lights still on. A lot of guys, their lights have gone out. But when the comforters come, whom I will send unto you from the Father, even the Spirit of truth, which proceeded from the Father, he shall testify of me, and ye also shall bear witness, because ye have been with me from the beginning. You see that? And that word testify, I got it right here. That word for testify. Alright, testify is give evidence as a witness in a law of court. Alright, to certify, to claim, submit, profess, to serve as evidence or proof of something's existing or being the case, a witness, you see? So the Lord's going to give that power to his true witnesses, man, in these last moments. And he's using the base things, the things that are despised, the things that aren't even looked at. Just like Xerxes said to Leonidas, oh, no one's going to care about your sacrifice. See, the Lord, it doesn't matter what man thinks or cares about. It's what the Lord cares about and what the Lord looks upon and what the Lord is well pleased with. See, everyone saw Cain's sacrifice and they was like, ooh, you bad. And they all worshiping and looked at, they wanted that kind of swag, you know, murdering your brother. But see, Abel's, right, the Lord accepted his, you see. But he was dead to that world, man, that generation, which the Lord destroyed, and he only saved Noah in that generation, in that time. All right, Job 32 and verse 7. I said, days should speak, and multitude of years should teach not wisdom, but there is a spirit in man, and the inspiration of Almighty giveth them understanding. great men are not always wise, neither do the aged understand judgment. You see, so it's not always the case. Sometimes the Lord raised up young men. Look at the story of the book of Susanna, Daniel, right? He had to come up against those two wicked ass elders that tried to run a train and commit adultery with that just woman that was already betrothed. You see, and then try to when she denied their wicked asses, their freak asses, they try to put her to death. But see, they was put to death. They found their own pit. Just look at a lot of you guys try to make a pit for the righteous. Your wicked ass gonna fall into that pit. What do you think, the Lord's not going to judge righteously? And then you're trying to act like just put it under the rug. Meanwhile, there's the elephant on the rug moving around. you workers of iniquity, you can't hide no more, man. And Lord's starting judgment in his house first. That's what's so beautiful about this thing, man. 1 Samuel 16:13. Then Samuel took the horn of oil and anointed him in the midst of his brethren, and the spirit of Yahweh came upon David from that day forward. So Samuel rose up and went to Ramah. You see, so that once the spirit of the Lord comes upon you, it's going to be on you, man. And if you righteous, and if you always creating in you a clean heart, and you have a contrite spirit, the Lord's going to be with you, man. Just as he was with David in that time. Just like the prophet Nathan said to David, he said, the Lord is with you, man. Do as the heart delighteth in, you see. And the heart of the king delighteth in judgment. Isaiah 28 and verse 6. And for a spirit, let me start verse 5. It says, in that day shall the Lord of hosts be for a crown of glory and for a diadem of beauty unto the residue of his people. Right, that's what's left behind. That's what's still remaining on their feet, coming up against the wicked, man. And for a spirit of judgment to them that sitteth in judgment, and for strength to them that turn the bow to the gate. You see, and that's what we're doing, because there comes a time where it's no longer needed for talking. That's why in that movie 300, which is so beautiful, you know, King Leonidas, he wasn't like a mob boss like a lot of you guys in Lord's Little Flock. He was a servant king, a leader king like Yahushua. He was in the front. He was leading from the back and telling men what to do. You know, even though the council said, don't do that, blah, blah. He knew that he had to defend his people, man, from the tyrants and the oppression, all the wickedness, man, and he even died for it. And he knew that message in his life and his men's life would carry on a great legacy, man. And that's what you brothers out there, you few Roys out there, that's what we have, man, coming if we endure unto the end. Micah 2 and verse 7. O thou that art named the house of Jacob, is the spirit of the Lord straitened? Are these his doings? Do not my words do good to him that walketh uprightly? You see? So if you ain't walking uprightly, oh man, these words are going to be what? Casting you down, destroying you, breaking you. You see? And let's get that word for strain. Is the word of the Lord straitened. Alright, Hebrew word is quatazar, meaning to be impatient, you see, to be short, like we read that other definition earlier. You see, metaphorically, Job 4:8, those who sow wickedness reap the same. To cut short, to abbreviate. And a lot of you guys, you're trying to cut short the word, you want to abbreviate things. Guess what? Lord didn't give no man license to wickedness, man, or to sin. A lot of you guys have this serpent doctrine, man. You will not surely die. See that? Let me read that again. Micah 2 and 7. O thou that art named the house of Jacob, is the spirit of the Lord straitened? Meaning, is the spirit of the Lord shortened, or is it abbreviated or kept back? Are these his doings? Do not my words do good to him that walketh uprightly? You see? So the words of the Lord, all right, the truth, all right, the words are going to abide forever. All right, while this world is going to pass away and be destroyed because of all this wickedness, right? They're going to do good to us, man. Especially this is the most important times, man. The Lord said, many kings and prophets have desired to see the things which you see and what you hear, have not heard or seen. But we're literally seeing. It's a movie, man. And it's marvelous in our eyes. And a synonym of that word strain or shorten, like it says in Micah 2 and 7, is a verse. Matter of fact, let me just get it real quick. Slakia. Let me not lose that, because that's a heavy point. All right, Micah 2 and 7. Micah 2 and 7. All right, and it says, "Is the Spirit of the Lord straighten?" And then we go to the word straighten. Let me go to the root. Let me break it down. All right, it comes from curtail, cut down, discourage, to discourage. It says, oh yeah, here it is, verse 8, Slakia. "Even of late, my people is risen up as an enemy. Yea, pull off the robe with the garment from them that pass by securely as men averse from war." And let's get that word for averse. And just like in the time when Yahushua was coming on a donkey and they was laying down those palms, right? Meaning symbolic of victory. You know, the wicked Pharisees and scribes and chief rulers, they rebuked Yahushua, saying, "Tell them to stop praising you." You see? They try to take off the robe of glory, the robe of praise, the garment of praise that we have. All right, so that word averse means to return, to turn back. Check this out. Of dying. It says to turn back from God, to apostatize, which that means to basically to reject a religion, to reject a faith. You see? To turn back, to turn away from God.
Fully loaded.
You see? And that's basically the point of what it's going into. To turn oneself to any person or thing. All right, so let's go back. This is real quick. 1 Samuel 11 and verse. Let me start verse 1. Alright, the title of this chapter is Saul defeats the Ammonites. And this is before he went totally haywire, man. Totally off the Richter and going off. It says, Then Nahash the Ammonite came up and encamped against Jabesh Gilead. And all the men of Jabesh said unto Nahash, Make a covenant with us, and we will serve thee. And Nahash the Ammonite, which is a heathen, alright, answered them, On this condition will I make a covenant with you, that I may thrust out all your right eyes, just like Xerxes said, and lay it for reproach upon all Israel. You see that? So see these fucking heathens, man. They got what they coming. They got what they got coming. That's why the Lord said in Micah 5:15, they have that same spirit today. You best believe that, man. You see how they vaunt themselves against us and our nation. Micah 5:15, the Lord's gonna execute vengeance and judgment upon the heathen, such as they have not heard. You see? Matter of fact, let me get this real quick in Judith, one of my favorite precepts against all these freaking heathens, man. Judith 16 and verse 17. See, it ain't about the crowd and who's listening to you. It's about if the Lord's listening to you, man. See, the Lord, he doesn't hear sinners. He hears his elect. He hears his chosen. His bride is his real. Judith 16 and verse 17. Woe to the nations that rise up against my kindred. The Lord Almighty will take vengeance on them in the day of judgment. And that day is upon us, brothers. And putting fire and worms in their flesh, and they shall feel them and weep forever. You see that, brothers? Let's go back. 1 Samuel 11 and verse 3. And the elders of Jabesh said unto him, Give us 7 days respite, that we may send messengers unto all the coasts of Israel, and then if there be no man to save us, we will come out to thee. Then the messengers to Gibeah of Saul. Then came the messengers to Gibeah of Saul, and told the tidings, right, the news, in the ears of the people, and all the people lifted up their voices and wept. They cried out. And behold, Saul came after the herd out of the field, and Saul said, What aileth the people that they weep? And they told him the tidings of the men of Jabesh. And the Spirit of God came upon Saul. See, so when the Spirit of the Lord comes upon you, what happens? Judgment gets executed. Righteousness reigns. Lord raises up men from the lower state. When it seems like there's no other Savior, there's no other man, the Lord raises up men. When he heard those tidings, that news, that evil news against Israel, his anger was kindled greatly. Now check this out. And he took a yoke of oxen and hewed them in pieces and sent them throughout all the coasts of Israel by the hands of messengers, saying, whosoever cometh not forth after Saul and after Samuel, so shall be done unto his oxen. And the fear of Yahweh fell on the people, and they came out with one consent. You see, with one consent. You see that? And that's what's happening in these last moments, man. Lord's returning unto us a pure language that we shall serve with one consent. And the elect, the watchmen, are going to see eye to eye. And they're going to lift up that cry. And when he numbered them in Bezek, the children of Israel the children of Israel were 300,000, and the men of Judah 30,000. Let me just get to the judgment, verse 11. And it was so on the morrow that Saul put the people in 3 companies, and they came into the midst of the host in the morning watch, and slew the Ammonites unto the heat of the day. And it came to pass that they which remained were scattered, so that the 2 of them were not left together. So let me jump back. Let me go to Revelation 11. Let's like Revelation 1 and 10. And I was in the spirit of the Lord's day, and heard behind me a great voice as of a trumpet. You see that? So the Lord's behind his men that sound the trumpet, certainly, not uncertainly, but are sure of what's about to happen. John 3 and verse 6. That which is born of the flesh is flesh, and that which is born of the spirit is spirit. And that's why a lot of our people, they're spiritually discerned. They don't really understand what's going on. John 16 and 13. Howbeit when he, the Spirit of truth, is come, he will guide you into all truth. For he shall not speak of himself, but whatsoever he shall hear, that shall he speak. He will show you things to come. See, and he's showing us what's about to happen. The Lord said what in Revelation? The Spirit of the Lord shall and you shall receive power. He shall glorify me, for he shall receive of mine, and shall show it unto you. Not to everyone, but to the remnant, the few that's still left, that has their dignity, man, and true intentions, and integrity, and valor in these last moments. Real quick, Revelation 11 and verse 11. You know what? Let me start verse. Yeah, let me get to the point, verse 11. And after 3 days and a half, roughly 350 years, the Spirit of life from God entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. Now, I want to go into that word life, the Spirit of life, right? That word life in the Greek, excuse me, is
Strong's G 2222 Zoe.
Now check this out. It says life, right? It says the state of one who is possessed of vitality or is animate. You see, so that's how the men of the Lord would be in these last moments. Liveliness, state of being strong and active, energetic, right? Animate is and living, bring to life, give a movie or character the appearance of movement using animation techniques. Now check this out, it gets deep. It says of the absolute fullness of life, both essential and ethical, which belongs to God, and through him both to hypostatic logos and to Yahushua, in whom the logos put on human nature. Now let's get that word for logos real quick. Check this out. Logos is an emblem, right? The word of God, or principle of divine reason and creative order. You see? And real quick, let's get that word for emblem. Whew, look at this. It says the principle of reason and judgment associated with the animus. Let's get that word for animus. right, is a motivation to do something. Hostility, being hostile. Logos goes into Greek, meaning word, reason. Which a lot of guys, they don't have no reason anymore. They don't got the word no more. Also comes from logo, meaning a high level programming language used to teach computer program to children. And real quick, let me get that word for emblem as well. Alright, emblem is a thing serving as a symbolic representation of a particular quality or a concept, right? And we're representing Yahushua on earth. Let me jump back. So it goes on to read here. It says, life, going into right? Like the scripture say in Revelation 11:11, the spirit of life enters in, right? That word life, real and genuine. You see, a life active and vigorous, devoted to God, blessed in the portion even in this world of those who put their trust in Yahushua, but after the resurrection to be consummated by new accessions, among them a more perfect body, and to last forever. See that? Let me jump. Romans 15 and verse 19, through mighty signs and wonders by the power of the Spirit of God, so that from Jerusalem and round about unto Illyricum I have fully preached the gospel of Yahushua. First Corinthians 2 and verse 1 says, in the title of this chapter is Paul's reliance upon the Spirit. You see, we don't rely upon the flesh, you know, and that's why we don't get carnal. I mean, how far you gonna get with trying to fight someone carnal? You know, someone's gonna get the tooth knocked out. You know, you're not gonna feel good. You're all gonna get thrown in jail. You know, it's just no one wins. It's a lose-lose, negative, and the wicked that's in authority, they win. They get the positive. You see? And that goes in the curses of our people. And I, brethren, when I came to you, came not with excellency of speech or of wisdom, declaring unto you the testimony of the power. For I determined not to know anything among you, save Yahushua Mashiach and him crucified. And I was with you in weakness and in fear and in much trembling. And my speech and my preaching was not with enticing words of man's wisdom, but in demonstration of the Spirit and of power, that your faith should not stand in the wisdom of men, but in the power of God. Now let's get that word for demonstration.
Strong's G 585. Apodexis.
All right, is going into proof, making manifest, showing forth. All right, and it comes from the root G8584, meaning to point away from oneself, to point out, show forth, to expose, to view, exhibit, to declare, to show, to prove what kind of person anyone is, to prove by arguments, demonstrate. You see that? So that's what's being demonstrated and shown publicly. Demonstrate is to show. Clearly show the existence or truth of something by giving proof or evidence. You see, so everything's being proven. You know, scripture say, prove all things. 2 Corinthians 1. In verse 21. Now he which establisheth us with you in Yahushua and hath anointed us is God. You see, like we read earlier, how Samuel anointed David, and he was being moved by Spirit from that day forward. So just like the Lord anointed us, we've been moving the Spirit from henceforth. It says, who hath also sealed us and given the earnest of the Spirit in our hearts. You see? So he's preserved that life, that mark within us, all right, to set a seal upon, marked with a seal, for security from Satan, you see, from the wicked one. And the wicked one cannot touch us, man. We are the Lord's property, you see that? Says to prove one's testimony to a person that he is what he professes to be, you see? To set a mark upon by the impress of a seal or a stamp. Basically meaning what? That's someone else's property, not yours. You cannot take that, you see? It also means what? Keep secret, to hide. You see, so we're being hidden, man. And matter of fact, let's go to John. I'm gonna close out here. This went rather long, but the Spirit just kind of hit me. Evil one. Cause we in them times, man, of it going down, man. Yeah, here it is. 1 John 5:18. We know that whosoever is born of God sinneth not. But he that has begun of God keepeth himself, and that wicked one toucheth him not. Real quick, let's get the word for toucheth him. And we know that we are of God, and the whole world lieth in wickedness, right? The whole world, man. Even amongst his truth. The world of Israel, that are not a part of the elect, they lie in wickedness too, with the whore. 1 John 5:18. That word for toucheth. And that's why the Lord said, what is it, Luke? And nothing shall by any means hurt you. Lord got us, man. Let's get the word for toucheth, though.
Strong's G 680. Hoptama.
Meaning to fasten oneself, to cling to, adhere to. Of carnal intercourse with a woman or cohabitation. You know, and that's heavy because Paul said, I couldn't speak unto you as of spiritual, but as unto babes, you know. So we had to talk like carnal, he had to speak carnal parables so that our people could get it and understand it, you know. It says of Levitical practice of having no fellowship with heathen practices. Right, it says properly to attach oneself to. It comes from G681. Let's see, it says here, it says harpto. Whoo, it says to fasten fire to a thing, kindle, set of fire. And our power is consuming fire, and he's making us to be consuming just like him in his presence, to consume the wicked, to set on fire. So Lord, he's literally set us on fire, man. And the righteous shall what? Kindle just as a light, you see? Second Corinthians 3 and verse 7. But if the ministration, verse 6, who also hath made us able ministers of the New Testament, not of the letter, but of the Spirit. For the letter killeth, but the Spirit giveth life. And this is what the Lord came to do this for, man, to fulfill fulfill everything, man, fulfill the word of the Lord, and to save us from our sins. 1 John 4 and verse 6. We are of God. He that knoweth God heareth us. And the Lord said, the words of wise men are heard more in quiet. You know, and when you go to Revelation, it's heavy. When you go to Revelation, was it Revelation 8, I believe? Yes, Revelation 8. All right, this is a Hey, Shalom, man, Slakia. You know, spirit moving. Had an interruption, Slakia. Revelation 8 and 1. I'm gonna close off here with you, brothers. You know, and in times past, I get upset, man, because I wasn't so good at editing videos, but now I'm like a lot better. So nothing really phases. Nothing can stop this word. It's gonna come out. It's gonna come out. Yeah, Revelation 8 says, and when he had opened the seventh seal, there was silence in heaven about the space of half an hour. And I saw the seven angels which stood before power, and to them were given 7 trumpets. Jump down verse 6. And the 7 angels which had the 7 trumpets prepared themselves to sound. You see that? So we're in the preparation of the last sounds. Verse 13, and I beheld and heard an angel flying through the midst of heaven, saying with a loud voice, Woe, 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 to the inhabitants of the earth, by reason of the other voices of the trumpet of the 3 angels which are yet to sound. That those 3 woes synonymous with the Third World War, which is going to come like a thief in the night, and that's why you have all this tension happening all throughout the world, man, and especially here, and you're gonna have a lot of our people, man, like I just got off the phone, man, you're gonna have a lot of our people, they ain't gonna listen to what we have to say, man. If we say sternly and sharply, hey, don't do this, don't do that, repent. Or if we say it nicely, they're just not gonna they're not gonna take heed to sound doctrine, they're not gonna adhere, because the Lord doesn't want everyone to be sealed, the Lord doesn't want everybody in, you see. But Lord wants you edified, and Lord's with his chosen, Lord's with his few out there, man. Yes, the Lord's against us, Lord's it's heavy, heavy times, but the Lord is with his few, man, you few sincere brothers out there, and your families, your loved ones, and those that take heed and listen to what we have to say. Yeah, man, let me get out of here. Gotta give all the praises, glory, honor, fear to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Chah Kodash, Wa Baba Ball.